All hands on deck, all hands on deck. Yes, my viewers and subscribers. West Indies versus Pakistan. The ODI series decider. ODI number 3 of 3. And as you can imagine, both teams will be looking to clinch the series. So we're going to be talking a few things. Going to be taking a look at playing 11 and batting order. Also going to be identifying a few things that happened in the first 2 games that we definitely need to correct going into this one to make sure that, we end that long wait to win an ODI series against Pakistan, right? So just give a listening ear until the end. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you have not yet subscribed, please remember to subscribe to the channel. So as you can see in the eyes, my people, still a bit red. I am up bright and early getting this one in before I head off to work. Unfortunately, I am not going to be able to see the game in its entirety. We'll be watching overs, a few overs here, a few overs there, but I will be keeping track of the score, as I go throughout my work day. So, yeah, first things first, my people, we have the momentum on our side coming out of the second game. So, we want to use that momentum to make sure, to our advantage. Not saying that because we won the second game means that we are just going to go into the third game and dominate. not at all. Right? I'm hoping that things will fall in place. Hopefully Captain Shea can win the toss, and, depending on how the weather is, or depending on what the weather is like, he can make a decision that is favorable to the team. Even when he makes that decision, the guys still need to go out there and do their part, right? So we are looking to, sort out all of that. Now, playing 11 and batting order before we go down into the rest of the stuff. As much as we won the second game, there are definitely a few things that we need to tighten up on. You understand? I tell you, if the series was already gone, we probably would make a change or two. But the fact that we managed to win the second game and tie the series, I am not changing the playing 11. I am going with the same playing 11. You understand? You have a couple of guys that they are working real hard to rub the bench. But the fact that we haven't managed to really beat Pakistan in a while, we have the momentum on our side. So I am going with the same playing 11 to see if we can go out there and secure this historic series win that we're looking for. The batting order, again, I say, depending on how the game is going, you can change things. You can have a plan that you're going to go with the 2 openers, King, Lewis, Carty, Hope, Rutherford, whoever. You can have a plan that's how you're gonna go. But depending on how the game is going, you can switch. You can just shift things around. You shift things around to suit the game. That is why you call critical thinking, or thinking on the spot, right? Just to make sure that you're adjusting depending on how the game is going. There are certain plans that you want to work with. For example, the bowling plan that we had in the second game, to keep the ball outside the half stump, try to entice the batsman and things. There are certain plans that you stick with and you work with for a while. But especially when you're batting, you switch up the lineup depending on the amount of overs, depending on the batsman that you have, depending on how the pitch is playing, and things like that. So, yeah, we're definitely going with the same playing 11. But in terms of the batting order, depending on how the game is going, I don't have a problem if certain people bat before certain people. You understand? They might have a right-hander at the crease and you're expecting a right-hander next, and the next person in is a right-hander. You might send in a left-hander in Moti, even if he wasn't supposed to be there just yet. Just to basically give them the right-hand, left-hand combination so the bowler don't settle, So those are the little things that we definitely need to get right. The little decisions that they all add up, so same playing 11 and batting order. All right, so coming out of the second game, my people, we spoke about batting and dominating the power play. Didn't really happen that way at all, my viewers and subscribers. So we go at it again, whether we're batting first or bowling first. We definitely need to make sure we have a strong power play. Evan Lewis and Brandon King, we know they are guys that will play their shots, but obviously the brand of cricket that Sammy wants him to play is attacking. He definitely wants him to be purposeful out there, so I don't have a problem with guys looking to play their shots, but you have to be mindful. You have to make sure that if you are going to play those shots, you're actually reading the ball right and things. So definitely looking for a nice power play for a batting first, 50, 55 coming out, 60. We can work with that. And then the middle overs, we can't stop stressing this. We have to rotate the strike. It's almost like we are on repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Because it's the same thing. Even if you listen to Captain Shea Hope at the end of the games, and he's doing his interviews, the same thing. Talking about trying to find a way to counter the spin, trying to find a way to, counter attack when they bring on the spin and thing. It's always the same thing. We definitely cannot have a man batting and staying down there and 4 and half 40 ball and 50 ball and them sort of things. We cannot have that. There are times when you're going to lose a wicket 2, 3, 4 in quick succession, and you might have to shift from the plan a little bit. You might have to consolidate, try to soak up some pressure, and then you try to put back the pressure on the bowling. We understand that, But generally speaking, at this level, you want to back yourself to score. It's not only surviving. A lot of the commentators will tell you that, listen, if you are down there trying to survive, there's eventually going to be a ball with your name on it. So you want to try and take over the score, and it's ODI. You have more time than you expect. That is how you end up getting bowled out, when people go hitting and swinging after every ball. That is how you end up getting bowled out, because you go so hard. A man bowl a maiden to you, right? Or you get 1 out of this over, get a maiden, 2 out of that over. Probably the 3rd or the 4th over, you think you need to get 4 or 5 sixes out of it. It's ODI. You understand? You don't want to just throw away a wicket like that. That is how we end up get bowled out, as I said. You're looking to go too hard without reading game situation. And as I said, game situation or game scenario, that is something that we need to master. If we are chasing, we need to be able to pace the game, right? We have to pace the game. We have to make sure that we're not doing any unnecessary stuff. If we're chasing and it's getting too close, obviously you're going to have a man or so that the coach might say, all right, go down there and try to give me 3 or 4 sixes within the next 7, 8 overs or whatever the case is, to see if you can bring us back in track. Play a good innings like what Rutherford did in the second game, right? But generally speaking, we want to play calm, composed cricket, right? The bowlers, they have been doing well so far. We just need the fielders to bat them up, take the catches. The feeling wasn't bad in the second game, so definitely want to carry on from there. And I mean, all the other things that we have been identifying throughout the series, the first game, the second game, of them, it's a third and final game. So I want to make sure that we are putting everything together. Captain Shea Hope, he did a brilliant job in the second game, rotating his bowlers, deciding who comes on now. We need that. And I say all hands on deck. Senior players should be helping Shea Hope out in terms of making sure that they are giving their input. It doesn't necessarily have to go with it, but that is a show of strength there, so, and unity. So that is what I'm thinking, my people. But yeah, you definitely need to go out there and get this series win. The team can use it, right? The team can use it. The West Indies fan base can use it, and Coach Darren Sammy along with Captain Shea Hope, they definitely could use a series victory against Pakistan. 34 years. A lot of the past players and people that were a part of, they played within this 34 years that will have stuff to say about, how the team is going. They were able to win a series against Pakistan in 34 years. So it would be a nice little gift for Sammy and Shea Hope after what they endured in the test series against us. Well, not even only the test series. I mean, the can say the entire series against Australia, right? But yeah, gonna leave this one right here. We'll talk again later on. Big up.